Good morning. Here we are again. Like the Groundhog Day of personal development. We're going around the big roundabout. Big Ben, Parliament. Big Ben, Parliament. Anyone know what movie that is? Bonus if you do. Okay, Jen with Laughing Lotus Wellness. Here we are. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Ready to roll. Having a little sip of coffee. Feeling it so good. Coming out of the meditation of Insight Timer. God, I love those people. Oh, so fun. So good. Energy's so good. The meditation was awesome. So you're getting the full leaded Jen, which should scare everyone. Okay, so today, our conversation in our meditation, why do I always do this when I get in here, is flow, vibration in, vibration out. So it's the idea that we want to have the capacity to allow vibration to flow in, around, and through us, right? So we know that hi, Lauren. Lauren, you inspired this conversation. I'm so excited you're here. I was like, she's not going to see it live and I'm going to be sad. So I don't know if you can stay the whole time, but if you can't, that's okay. Okay, so at one point I had a client say to me, what do we do about tough people around us? So let's say my vibes are really good and I show up and I have to spend time with a family member, a friend, something. I'm in a social situation, a coworker or whatever. And hi, Jenny. And people are, oh my God, I'm here for this. I'm so excited that you're here for this, literally. And so what do I do about that? And I'm like, oh, my friend, have I got an answer for you? So we're going to talk about that today, which I'm super excited about. And so our meditation was about going in and we released some things that were no longer serving us. And that was a whole part of that was like the initial part of the meditation. And then we went into this really vibratory space, which was really fun. So I was like, ooh, the energy crackling, so good. And what we did was we really kind of got in our spiritual space. Just hang with me for a minute. And kind of understanding what our own vibration feels like, right? I had people like do a rating scale for themselves at the beginning, a rating scale at the end. I wanted to see what they could see for their ability to shift their vibration. And as a part of the meditation, I had them go in. This is intentional. This sounds like, right? So to the ears, it sounds like, what were you doing? Maybe even to the brain. I sent them into places where they were uncomfortable. And so I was like, you're going to go in and you're going to be in your, and it's all meditative and it's very chill. And I'm like, and you're going to be with people that don't necessarily match your vibration. Because I want us to have the skill to navigate when we bump into people and spaces and energies and stories and events that do not mesh up with our vibration. So what I invite you to do for a minute, just for a minute, we won't spend a lot of time here, is to close your eyes, because this will not be it's too bad because it can't be the whole meditation, the whole, right, whatever. If you want to, I'll upload that into my library on Insight Timer. You can go and listen, which I highly recommend. People I think really liked this one in particular. And so I really invite you to kind of go back and nab this meditation if you want to have the full experience. But I invite you to close your eyes for a minute. And I just want you to go through all the layers of your skin and bones in towards the thoughts and the feelings, right? As we move into energy body, and we're moving all the way into the breath and all these layers of our being, right into the very center core of who we are. And this is really your bliss space, right? It is I think of it as like your supernova soul spark, right there in the center. And when you're in that place, and I want you just for a minute, allow yourself, your imagination, if I know not everyone can visualize really easily, so roll with me, I invite you to try it, is imagine that your soul, that vibration has a color, a texture, a sound, something that resonates for you. Because each of us has a soul unique marker to us. And so just going in and just seeing if you can't play with that a little bit. Just sense the vibration, sense the energy of who you are. You can give it a color. It could sparkle. It could be tingly. It can be, right, fluid and flowing. Somebody had pink sparkles earlier. I loved it. I was like, that's fantastic. It can look like whatever resonates for you. There's no wrong answer. And just to sit for a moment with that vibration. And I want you to, for a moment, at your very best, I want you to think about something that brings you pure joy. Really plug deeply into that as you breathe here. So make sure your breathing is nice and steady and fluid and flowing. And I really want you to get in touch with what brings me pure joy. At the happiest I am doing this. I'm walking on a beach, there's sand between my toes, I'm walking in the surf, I'm walking in the woods, I am flying. Maybe you have, the ability to fly. You get in your airplane and you fly once a week. Maybe it's that you love to travel. Maybe it's connecting with other people that you feel the most lit up. So I want you to just go in that space for a moment, sit there, check the vibration, check the energy. Get deeply in touch with that. And in the sweetest space we can be in, we want to take a snapshot of that vibration. Okay. And then you can slowly blink your eyes open. And what I want us to think about is, if that is our one version of our highest good, right? I mean, that's one version. It's not all of them. It's just one version of the highest good. Because our vibration is shifting all the time too, right? So this is a big deal. And so if I give it a color, a texture, whatever, and then I imagine that out in the world, I'm going to engage with other energies. And so I began in my office as I had progressed in providing therapy for, I was in my, I don't know how, something, late teen, providing therapy. I began to see in my mind that the energies of the people in this space were intermingling. So I want you to sort of give it this idea of like a smoke or a fluid flowing something, and then they sort of wrap around one another and they engage with each other, and there's this beautiful connection in that, right? And that was how I began to see what was happening in the space, which was energy. It's not people. These are just the vessels. These are just the things carrying this good stuff around, right? This is just the vessel. And I, beyond the vessel, right, I get much more excited about the stuff that's energetically going on within this internal space. And so I want to invite you to do that. And then when we do that, we know that there are going to be times we're going to bump into people and situations that aren't going to be for us. And this is that discernment, right? We're going to talk today deeply about the discernment of what happens when my vibration, I take my beautiful vibration, this vibrant light, and I put it in with others. We put it in the bag with other people. And sometimes other people's vibrations elevate us, right? They elevate us. They make us better, stronger, more vibrant, more light, excited, seeking, adventurous, joyful. And then sometimes we're going to be with people where we're going to come into contact with them and we're going to feel maybe a little more distressed. We're going to feel heavier. We feel less brilliant. We feel less seen. We feel less valued. We feel like we have to protect ourselves, defensive. So here's one I want to talk about firstly, which is not I don't think a word, but firstly, how do we know when the vibe is not for us? I'm here for another dose. Violet, bless your ever loving heart. I love you, sister. How do we know it's not for us? So this is the first discernment, right? So, and you might want to write this down. I mean, like, I'm not like, take notes, I'm amazing, but write this down because I want you to have reference for it later. Discernment. What's happening? I want you to what's happening? What happens when I am not in flow? When it is not for me, what happens? How do I feel? Everyone is slightly different. I'm going to give you some of the answers that I think are more common. And then I want you to investigate for yourself. How do you know? I will not touch base on every single person's ideas of how they will know. Okay. So I think it feels like an experience of heaviness. That's one of mine. I'll feel heaviness when I'm with people who are vibing down here. And here's what I want to say too. Back up. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. Want to be real clear. We are not judging others. This light over here, this is so not cute. Sorry, the sunlight's like half coming in. Weird. I want to say this. We are not judging other people. So let's back up a minute because I want to have this conversation first. So the rest of our conversation is structured with this idea being held in our space with us. what I want to get to for you is that when I went and did yoga training, it was the first time I think I really began to understand this idea of you can be, or the situation or story or whatever can be not for me, and it doesn't make it bad. One more time. It might not be for me, it doesn't make it bad. And so I stopped attaching meaning to things that were not for me. Okay, so this is a whole nother layer of work. So if you just went, what? It's another layer of work. We practice it. So what I want to do is practice noticing without judgment. So when we talk about things today, so that I'm not explaining myself over and over again in my language and you're like, gosh, that was kind of harsh. It's not meant to be harsh. I'm only purely talking about it for like conversational reasons, and so that you'll take something away as like okay, that makes, I want it to make sense. We are not picking on a person, a situation, a story. We're not doing that. That is so not useful. In fact, and this is what I would challenge you, is when we have the inclination to get into judgment about it, the story, a person, we're actually creating negative vibe and energy. Make sense? If I'm in my head and I'm like, oh, that person, even in my brain, even in my thinking, creating an energy, okay? Not helpful. So what we want to do is just notice, purely noticing whatever's happening way the hell far away from you, right? I almost like this very disconnected vibe because it allows us some objectivity. So rather than attaching to it, it's like, okay, this is what's happening. So when I'm in so-and-so's space, I notice that I start to feel heavier. I get anxious. I might feel depressed. I feel like jumpy on the inside. Like I'm getting this, right? Like I'm like plugged into an outlet. Ooh, and not in a good way. Like, oof, like I want to escape. Okay. So we're watching for a couple of things. One is our minds might be going, You ever had this? You're in a situation and someone's telling you something, and you're just like, get me out of here. I can tell my thoughts might tell me. My body will more than likely tell me. So your thoughts might, your body might, your emotions. Okay. So I might have a physical sensation. I might have an emotional sensation. I might have an image pop into my head. I might have a voice in my head that's like, get the F out of here. This is bad, right? So I want us to be discerning about, how do we know when something isn't for us? Because we go traipsing through our lives. I don't know somebody very well. I hop in a conversation and I go, okay, wow. Whoa, the negativity, or whoa, the judgment. For me, it can be any of that stuff. And it isn't that makes somebody bad. This is not making someone bad. This is making somebody or their story or whatever they are, that energy, that minute, not for me. It is not for me. And that's what I want you to be thinking about. Is this for me or not for me? Vibration in, vibration out. Meaning I can flow in and out of these vibrations. I don't have to stay. The beauty is in the being empowered to decide when you need to go. And then we're going to talk about how to go. Because I like that term better than how we cope. How we go, how we get out of it. So I want us to be reading ourselves, which sounds goofy as shit, I know. We want to read ourselves. I want to read my thoughts. I want to read my physical sensations. We will have an urge to run from time to time, literally to run. Don't walk, run. We will have that sensation of wanting to, our guard goes up. You know what I'm talking about? I totally feel this. If I'm with somebody that's negative, my shield wants to go, I'm out. Like I'm out. So I want you to be so good at reading with self-awareness what is coming in for you. What is coming in? And so then we have to assess, okay, so I'm in a thing that's not working for me. It could be anything, my friends. It could be a movie, a song, a story, a situation, a human being, a place at work, random, contact with a human being. It can be anything, right? Standing in line at, a store or whatever. We have this random whatever. So I want you to think about that, right? So we're going to be bumping into this, our vibrations everywhere. We're in vibration, we are vibration, and vibration will come in and around us. We just know that that's a fact. Okay, so we'll all agree on that. So now, what do I do? Because here's going to be the pivot. So the pivotal moment's going to be two things. What do I do? And then what do I do when I can't get out of it? Okay, because we've got a family function, or we've got, right, a something, we're going to have to interact with somebody. School function, whatever. Okay. Or I have to go to work every day. Not shockingly, right? I work with someone that's low vibe and I have to work every day. So we're going to talk about that separately. First, how do we cope? How do we get at it? How do we go? What do we do with ourselves? Mantra. Write this down. Mantra. I can set a mantra for myself. I am sending loving protective energy to myself. I am sending loving protective energy to myself. I am sending loving protecting energy to myself. What we can do is you can literally create with your thoughts a little beautiful bubble of a shield around yourself. Your thoughts are money. They're powerful. And so one of the things that's always just in that minute, if I start feeling that, jittery, I'm standing out next to somebody that I'm not liking what they're talking about, or they're, disrespecting women, or they're saying something just ishy, right? Ishy. Oh, okay. I am sending an energy, healing light and energy protection bubble around my person. I am sitting in healing, protective, loving energy. I am sitting in protective, healing, loving energy. Do you feel me? Do you feel me? Can I get an amen? Okay, so that's one thing. We can totally set a tone and energy with our thoughts, which is really important because our thoughts are going to get engaged at some point, right? When we're in someone's presence, we're just going to talk like it's somebody that's being really negative about whatever. So if somebody has an example or question, that's lovely because examples are even better. But I want to talk about this in a general way to start, unless someone has an example. But we are going to put this bubble, right? And it's not a meanness. It's a cool, you're not for me. This is not for me. I'm going to set this beautiful, healing, energetic bubble around myself to keep out some of that vibration because I just don't need it. It's not serving me. And if I get into it, if I let you in my vibe and then I start shifting into I'm not adding anything positive to it anyway, right? Fact. I'm not anything positive. If I'm up in my brain and and we start engaging in it, war's over. Why bother? Right? So our truest, most beautiful skill is in the setting this out so that my energy expands 2 feet around my body in any direction. Okay. This is where your energy field is, right? The really immediate one. I can't get in here. You can imagine sunshine. You can imagine golden healing white light. You can imagine whatever you need. So it's a combination of thought and mantra with a visual if you have it available to you. And not everybody does, and I know that, but I want you to just pretend like you could see an orb around you if that would work for you. Community. I said this earlier in our meditation. Community is so crucial to your well-being. If you are not plugged into a deeply healing, loving, beautiful community, run, don't walk, and find one, okay? Because you need healing community. Because when we come into contact with vibration that does not match ours, it's like a frequency, right? And it sounds dissonant, like it's not this really beautiful healing sound. It's this dissonance. Other people, when we call them in for support, will help hold space for that so that we can realign. Right? Make sense? I can snuggle back in and leave that rest of that out. I come back into my homing space. This is like home base, right? If we're playing a sport, it's like home base. And I come back here and I get refilled back up because I know I have healing, loving people to come in and support me in my journey. Okay. And Lauren says, my biggest example was quitting a job with nothing lined up because of the collective vibration of a super toxic work environment where everyone was so cruel to each other. The ickiest vibe that made my stomach flip as soon as I would walk in. Tummy. Notice that? Headaches and tummy aches. Big. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you so much for saying that. Love that. Let me see if I can. Nope, it's not going to let me. I tried liking your thing yet. It's not going to. Yes. Yes and yes. Physical sensations are commonly associated with energetic experiences. Whole other conversation. We are very often having an energetic experience that we will take as being one that's very physical. Okay. And that's my belief system. Those are my goggles. You can use yours. These are my goggles. My goggles say, oh, there's something energetically amiss. So Lauren walk into work and go, oh, yuck. Maybe I feel a little nauseous. Maybe my stomach feels tight. Maybe I feel tight in my chest or my shoulders because I'm carrying. This is not an accident, friends. When we are tight up here, this is where I tend to carry my stress. We're carrying the weight of the world, my friends, figuratively, energetically, right? Oof, bad, hard for us. So super, super hard as human beings. But we want to listen to that. So like Lauren was like, peace out, bitches. So she just quit. That's brilliant. The ability to go, this is not for me. This is not for me. You don't have to judge it. It was a toxic environment, but without judgment, you can go, this isn't for me. This is not my lane. I'm in the wrong lane. I have to shift lanes because this is not my lane. I do not belong here. And so I want you to really pay attention, like super close attention to the thoughts, to the visceral response, the inside of like what is happening for you, because it will tell you every time when something is amiss. We need community. So in that event, like I would have Lauren have reached out to her community. Hey, community, friends, family, whoever's in her circle. I think I gotta go. Think I gotta go. I can't. I'm in this work environment. It makes me feel sick. It gives me headaches. I'm just riffing here. So Lauren, sorry for putting words in your mouth, but I'm feeling bad and I know it's not the right space for me. This is not meant for me. And then her community can come in and send her some good energy, hold her in a space of love and light and honor her feelings, and then be there to support her decision-making, right? Like whatever that means. Do you need to stay? Because sometimes we can't leave. We really, really, truly can't leave temporarily, right? So we might have to stay, and how do we endure that? Or yeah, let's get you out of there. Let's make a plan. I'm a big fan of planning. Okay, planning. Why? Planning is energy. Planning is energy, even if we don't do it. Planning is energy. Huge deal. So sometimes it's about creating the plan that helps us feel better. But Lauren was great. She was like, bye, I'm out. Gorgeous. That's what I would want for you. Okay. I want you to get out in nature. Why nature? Justin Fairman on Insight Timer, listen to his incredible talk. It was like an hour and a half or better. Flow. So good. So good. And what he's talking about here is flow state. And the optimal flow states in particular related to our senses. I will not get into it in depth here, but it was so on the money. And I was so impressed. And it said that when doing these things, you can have 200 to 500% increase in output of productivity. 200 to 500%, not 2 to 5%, 200 to 500% increase in productivity. Whoa, to be in flow state. That's what it does for you. Okay. And so one of the big things though, and I'm going to skim because this is the like juicy nugget. Nature. Seeing it with your eyes, hearing it with your ears, feeling with your hands. That being in nature, what happens is our vibration, our frequency is like utmost. It's a really beautiful state. One of the highest brainwave states for us is when we're in nature. Okay? And so we know that's going to be one of the states we're going to be in when we can be at our very, very best. And that's what we're shooting for. And so I want to encourage you to get out in nature and utilize this super natural and gift we've been given of connecting in spaces that allow us to have this flow state change. Now, if you don't live in a place where there's lots of nature, then you will need to create it. So this would look like having a screensaver of beautiful, photos of something that you really enjoy looking at outside. It could be of trees, it could be of the sky, it could be of the ocean, of the mountains, of anything, red rock of Sedona. Whatever you need to have around you, you're gonna fill that in. Nature sounds right now today, even though I was doing a meditation earlier, I opened my window. So there could be sounds on my meditation track. I have no idea. The windows need to be open. The birds are singing. The sun is shining. I'm going to embrace this spring day because that was really important to my wellness. And so I just cranked the window open just a little itsy bitsy bit so I could have the littlest bit of sound in the background here. So I've got that going, right? That's my soundtrack. So it could look like bird sounds, ocean sounds. We have the ability to build in these things if we can't naturally have them. The natural ones are the best. Right? All of us. Like I know Lauren lives, close to the ocean. That's awesome. Dude, thumbs up. That's great. So go and be by the ocean if you can, if you have that opportunity. when you don't, we create it, right? So I'm really blessed since I moved out of the suburbs into a quieter neighborhood and my entire backyard is nature. The state of our wellness as a family has gone up exponentially. Exponential. I have no words for it. And if anybody had said it to me, I would have believed you vaguely. I don't know that I would have believed you, but now I believe you. Because being here and going out, sitting on the deck, having my coffee, listening to the birds, just watching them flit up to the feeders and, you know, just kind of the flight through the trees and all this stuff. Oh my God. It's, and just hearing and then seeing the deer in the backyard, the owls that come and visit, hearing the owls in the night when they're, you know, like hooting off in the distance, and the frogs in the pond over here is like, it's cacophonous, and it's like literally the perfect drone for me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it is so soothing to me. And so somebody else think it was distracting. I love it. I'm windows wide open. This is me, right? Like, nope, we absorb all of that in. Also, my house looks like I live in a tree house kind of, because the whole backyard is trees, and when it fills in, it's just one big wall of green out my back windows. It's so cool. And so for me, even my husband said to me, and he said it differently because he would reflect on it differently. He said, you know, I just don't feel like I need to go on vacation the same way that I used to. I mean, I'm still like all about adventure and vacation, so just saying. But I know what he's saying, because there's such an innate sense of beauty just being where we are already. That same drive to like get the hell out is not there anymore. That doesn't even exist. So even camping, which we used to like, we do still love to do, but we used to like just yearn to be out, right? Because we could be in nature. I go sit on my back deck, yo. I go sit up on my fire pit in my sanctuary. That is the money. So when we're lucky enough to have that, that's awesome. And then I want to go step into it or take a walk. One of my friends that I follow on Instagram, she takes walks on the beach like every day, dude. She like does her little, you know, mini, hey, live whatever's from the beach. It's the coolest thing ever. Jen Adams, she's on Instagram. So shout out to Jen Adams. And I really like her. She's a coach. She's a neat woman. And so cool, right? She's all about it. Nature. Energy work and healing. What do I mean about that? Energy work and healing. So this is the third one. Fourth one. I lied. I can't keep track. Energy work and healing. When we are in vibration, if we're in really great vibration, awesome, and then we can go and be in vibration that's not so awesome. Does anybody feel this? I'm like high vibing, I'm doing good, and then I go somewhere and I'm like, right? Sometimes we might want to do energy work in that space because we almost need to release and detoxify. So today I talked about Insight Timer. You might imagine almost like an ectoplasm. Right? Ghostbusters, right? That grody green ectoplasm that the ghosts leave on people or stuff. That's kind of what I imagine it looks like, right? Is that we have ectoplasm on us. And sometimes we're going to actually have to get rid of that. It's not just like I want to wish it away or will it away, or I want to go sit in nature, which is awesome. And all of those things are good. Every once in a while, I do think it behooves us to go do some energy work where that stuff can be cleared for us. And that can be chakra work. It can be healing work. It can be Reiki. I mean, honestly, there's even some visualizations and things like that that are also pretty darn good. And so I would say, you know, really optimizing that energy, because energy begets energy, right? So sometimes we might need energy to break that grossness up and release it. And so I'm also a fan for that. I think that's a huge deal. And it's just something that we should be doing on a regular basis in some variation or another, whatever works for you. But energy healing and work is so crucial to your wellness. I cannot emphasize it enough. Enough said. Boundaries. This is the very psychological, clinical stuff I worked in for 20 years in my office, is boundaries. And so what we do is things like this. Let's say I have to go to work. If anybody has a question too, or a situation, that's my favorite. So if anybody has one, because that's way more fun to play with than the stuff I make up in my brain. So if you've got a good one where you're like, Jen, I have to go do this. What would I do with this? What would boundaries look like? That's really fun if you're willing to share. If you're not, it's okay. Because I love that kind of stuff. Lauren, I can't wait to have you here. I can't wait until you get here to share my backyard space with me. And so thinking about a scenario where I have to be in it. Work is always kind of the one that I think is the easiest to get to, but yeah, we're going to do a family one. Unless somebody has another idea. If we have a family function I have to go to, and I know I'm going to be with someone who makes me distinctly uncomfortable or is really, really negative, what am I going to do? Because again, it is not real world life to be like, well, I'm just never going to go. I mean, blessed be, good luck. I mean, right? Because you're going to have people and situations and stuff that is not going to serve you or not be for you, and you're still going to have to go do it from time to time. This is a huge skill. So boundary setting is so important. So if I had my way, I should have scooched these around. I would have done boundaries and then energy work. Here's why. If we still have to be in the ectoplasm, we're going to have to go do the thing. We're going to be in the vibration. We're going to know that it's not great. We're going to feel it in and around us. And then we're going to want to get rid of it. That's a great time to do energy work. Following a situation that's ishy. So if I know I'm going to go to family function, let's just use a holiday. I'm going to go to Christmas. Christmas. And I've got a stepmom, I'm making stuff up as I go here, that I do not get along with, right? And I'm there, and every time I'm there, she's critical, and she's unkind, and she's ungenerous, and she's negative, and she's bitey, and she is kind of standoffish, and she doesn't engage in the stuff we're doing, and she's just kind of, you know, whatever. But I know she's going to be there. I can't be like, leave her home. Okay, so, right? So what I do is I show up to this, and I go to myself, and I go to my partner, maybe I'm, you know, to my husband, I'd say to Zach, hey, bruh, we're going to be there about an hour and a half. Hour and a half. Tap out. We out. If she's still there, we're out. So what we do before we even go is we create a plan, right? Did you hear me earlier say planning, 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 planning? Okay. So I make a plan for myself. Okay. And so I will, and so here's what I can do when I'm there. Okay. One is I just know I'm only going to be able to stay for an hour and a half and done. Because that's what my energy, my vibration can take. And after that, I start to feel really depleted. So I can go and do it for about an hour and a half is what I got in my soul. 2 hours, 3 hours, you name it, whatever it is for you, that's what you do. Okay, cool. So I'm in my time. And on top of it, I have to sit by her at dinner. Sweet, right? And so now I'm sitting right next to her at a table, and she's over here, and she's, you know, being kind of rude, and she's standoffish, and she's not ready. And what I do, listen to what I do, right, is slowly and gently turn my body language away. So she's talking over here, she didn't care about what I'm doing, and I turn my body language away, and I set that energy. Remember that mantra? I am in a healing, you know, bubble of healing, peace, and loving light. I'm in a bubble of healing, peace, and loving light, right? And I connect with the breath, and I set my mantra, and I set up my little virtual bubble, and I actually physically turn my body away from her. Okay. And you can actually do this. This is another, right? So you're not going to sit at a table full of your family members and rub your hands together. But what you can do is you can just sit and just, as you talk, like, you know, gently kind of place your hand on your heart from time to time to protect it. So you can actually send this healing hand over your heart space to protect your heart and the energy there. So every once in a while, this is a really nice thing to do too, if you can, even if you have to like go use the restroom quick and take a break and just sit for a minute and breathe and have this protective space over your heart. You can imagine placing something right over that heart space. But I'm literally maybe even going to move and I'm not doing it to be rude. I'm not doing it. I'm just saying I'm going to move my energy field away from you if I can in a socially, you know, appropriate way, right? So I kind of turn away and I carry conversation on over here, right over here. I don't have to be here. This is a choice. I can choose to be here. And I'm not rude. Hey, would you mind passing me the, yep, and I pass the potatoes and I come back to my conversation and I did it, right? We're just doing our, but I'm not directing my energy in her energy. It's not going to serve me. It's not for me, right? So what else does she do? I'm trying to think of a good example of something else that somebody would do while you're at a family function. And you're like, oh Lord. I think for me, one of the things that comes up for me that when I think of when I've been in toxic environments are like around people that tend towards toxicity. There's a lot of like barf of the mouth. Poison of the mouth, right? So just negative to speaking. I will do a couple of things. One, I'll remove myself entirely because I don't got no place for that. No time for that. Or I will redirect. I will crack a joke. I will make levity out of it, and I will move us away from the subject altogether. So it's one of my coping things is, oh no, oh no, I'm sorry, misunderstand me. We are not doing that shit today. And so that's kind of how I'll nope. And so depending on the situation, right? Again, social, right? We want to be socially appropriate, right? We're not trying to stomp all over someone either. But there is this, I get to protect myself. I get to protect myself when I'm in these energies. And so it's a way to disconnect from that. And also you're stopping the stream of negativity. Because I want you to imagine, if you're in the room And everyone sitting there is just their light selves. They're just the light selves. The vessels aren't here. There's no hair, skin, bones, but it's just the light selves. And they're all covered in ectoplasm. Every one of them. When someone's doing this, and it's oozing grossness over the entire space, the entire workspace, the entire family, the entire what, you know it. And people's faces are like this. You ever seen this, right? Slack-jawed, please Jesus, make it stop. I don't want to be in this anymore. I don't know how to get out. You'll watch people's demeanors literally shift. Guaranteed, pay attention. You'll see it. People's demeanors, they start turning away. They start fidgeting. They start getting, all of a sudden get up and I'll need to go get another cocktail. Wink, wink. Right? Get me the hell out of here. You'll watch people. Okay? Vibration, it agitates. It's literally moving us because we're like, oh, I don't want to be in this, right? So again, there's tools and skills, and we will not get over to, but I want to throw it out there. Boundaries. Boundaries are so important. And so it's limiting contact always. One of the boundaries is limiting contact as much as possible with the person, situation, story that is really ishy for us. The vibration is not good. It brings our vibration down. We don't feel lifted up. We don't feel good about it. And we certainly don't, if we don't feel good about ourselves when it's over, we know it's a no. That's a hard no. So this is another skill, is that setting the boundaries. I get to choose how to protect myself in energy and vibration that does not serve me. It's not for my good. And I'm not judging you. I might not like stepmom, whoever I'm making her up. I might not like stepmom, but well, we're in for it. I mean, like, she's here and I don't get to do anything about that. That's not my choice, but I get to choose what I do with her. I get to choose how much energy I give her. If I get negative and crappy inside my soul, I'm affecting my own vibration. I'd rather let her go to namaste. Nah, give it up. Bye. Do your own thing. Like, do your good for you. Hope all is well. Best wishes. See ya. Right? That's how I approach it now. No judgment. It doesn't need to be judgy. Not that I'm never judgy, because I am. Try to stay out of it, because that creates its own ishy energy. And I don't want to sit with it. No thanks. Okay, boundaries. Baths and showers. Sounds silly, super cleansing. So if we are in something yucky, this is another tool. Huge reset, huge cleansing sense, not only physically, literally, but also this sense of energetically and vibrationally is cleansing. And so I would encourage you to imagine a bath of light, a shower of light, right? We're healing, it's healing waters of light, right? So we're creating intention in that space for ourselves to get into it with the idea that we're going to be cleansed. And so again, that's another neat energy trick, actually. So I love that one. And people were talking a lot about baths and showers as super healing. Epsom salts, super good for that. Meditation. So meditation is also a big deal for our vibes and for people around us. And the reason that meditation is powerful is the letting it go. It can be a really powerful modality for sitting in a space of letting vibration separate from us and coming back to our truest and most beautiful own vibration. So if I need to, I can come back to that one that I walked you through the beginning and go, okay, what's my best and highest good? If I go in and I close my eyes and I want to get in touch with that, because we just talked about a lot of yucky stuff. So what I'm going to do is have you walk really quickly. What we're going to do this is I invite you to close your eyes, soften the gaze. And again, I want you to just come back from that space, right? We just talked about a lot of situations and hairy kind of uncomfortableness with things that we can come into contact with in our vibration field. And even talking about it can create some anxiety, right? Some energy, some vibration. It makes me feel anxious. So what I want you to do is I want you to get it back in touch with that sweetest space in the inside of who you are. Highest vibration. When you feel the most lit up in life, what are you doing? In nature, by the ocean, on a hike, holding your baby, petting a sweet animal. I don't care what it is. I'm touching into that. And letting that vibration, the texture of that, the color of that, the sensation of that fill you up with goodness. And sensing the shift away from the things that aren't serving us, the things that are not for us. and we sort of see them off in the distance, right? And what I'm beginning to do is I'm beginning to separate out, right? That texture. I'm separating out like, oh, that's your texture, this is my texture, and I pull it back from that. And I just notice, like, that's not for me. That's okay. That's not for me. That's not for me. This is me coming back to me. This is my vibration, my own sweetness, my own centeredness. And then just blinking the eyes open again. And so that's where I want you to go, right? I want you to go like, oh, I have control. I have some control in this, right? So when I'm in a space, I could go in the restroom and do this at a family function. I could do this at work. I might have to do it 10 times a day. But I'm going to get in touch with my sweetness. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to pull out that vibration. What's mine? What's yours? This is where I end. You begin. That is not for me. That is not for me. That way of talking, that way of being, that way of whatever you're doing is not for me. That movie is not for me. That food is not for me. Okay? Without judgment. It's not unkind. When we say it's not for me, we're not saying it's terrible or you're terrible or whatever. We're not doing that. You'll notice my language. That's just not for me. That's just not for you. That's okay. Sometimes people are really great people and they're still not for us, by the way. Okay? Oh, that's a novel one, right? Maybe somebody just isn't our style. Everyone isn't going to get my weird humor, my wackadoodle, whatever, the way that I teach, right? It's not going to be for everybody, and that's okay. That's okay. I make space for that. Like, I get it. I want you to find the right teacher, the right coach, the right whatever it is you're looking for, right? Back in the day when I was doing therapy, I want you to find the right therapist. We want to get out of our egos. It's not about us. It's not personal. It's not, right? Like, no, it's about you finding the right connection for you, because when you find the right connection, and this is what we talked about in our meditation today, when you find the right connection, sparks fly. And you know what I'm talking about. When you've met the right person, all of a sudden it goes, woo, and the energy in this space in this really beautiful way is super lit up. And we're like, oh, hot damn, stuff is happening. Something's happening here. And I love Deb. I wish Deb was in here this morning, but Deb is one of my colleagues that she and I would do this a lot together. We would like start having conversations about our ideas and the things we wanted to do and the things we were thinking. And all of a sudden it literally felt like, I swear to you, were you able to see our auras, our chakras, or whatever? It would have been sparking in the most beautiful way. And so we're around people like this too, that just generate our goodness. They lift us up. They light us up. They inspire us. They challenge us. They love us. There is something magical about that kind of connection. Zoop. And you'll feel it. I mean, you just, ooh, I love that. It's like my favorite thing on the planet, right? When you are in community, when you are with a friend or a couple friends and you are growing something intensely beautiful energetically, and people are listening and they're being vulnerable and they're honest and they're loving and they're kind and they're holding space, there is something magical freaking happening, and you're talking and you're connecting, and it all of a sudden is like the whole world falls away. You know what I'm talking about? The whole world falls away and I'm just here and we're in this crazy little zone and it's the coolest experience ever. That is what we're after. And that is what we can have. So vibration isn't all bad. It's learning how to defend against it and deal with, manage the things that are not for you. And there's things that are for you. And the things that are for you are going to come in and they're going to light you up. You're going to feel super excited. You will feel not jumpy, right? Because I talked about sometimes I think the sense of internal jumpiness is like if somebody's making me anxious or someone's being negative and I might feel like I kind of don't want to be in my skin. This is like so in your skin. Like but it's an internal vibration of energy, like, yeah, like waves of this beautiful insight and awareness that like something wonderful is happening. That's what it feels like when it's in, right? Vibration, bring that in, right? Bring it in. And so when we have someone and we're laughing and we're telling stories and we're joining and we're connecting and we're doing all these things, that is money, friends. That's vibration in. And so I don't want to dismiss, right, that it's all hard. But one of my people said something to me about like, what do I do in hard relationships? And I'm like, I was determined I was going to answer a question at some point in this concept of flow, because I think it's so important that we understand it. We have the ability to transform it. And so energetically, that's what I wanted you to sit with today. I came in, I was like, okay, I did my little thing. Oh, look at that. This is how I feel. Then I go and we talk about some hard stuff. We come back around. We re-engage that shift and transformation, that state of bliss. We go back to that state. I go, oh, there it is. It's a state of being. And I'm going to connect with my state of being that is much more peaceful and at ease. And it's blissful inside here. So I can connect with my light. I don't have to stay in this. This is a way to come back to center, and it's a way to reconnect to the light and vibration that's working for you. Okay? So vibration out, kick it to the curb. Vibration in, bring it in. So these are the things that we want to do when we're dealing with all the time. Lauren, thank you. Love you and so grateful for your vibration. Thank you, friend. Thanks for being here and asking great questions and being so engaged. I really appreciate you. And I hope this answers your question. So did this help at all in Lauren? I just want to ask and make sure that whatever is falling on ears and it's in a helpful way. I don't want to keep you all day. I know people got lives. I got things to do here. I know we all do. So I just want to make sure that makes sense. So yes, okay, good, Lauren. Thank you. If any other questions, feel free. If you don't have time to stick around, you can certainly go do life and come back and finish later. That's if you have a question. If you don't, we're good. So I just want to make sure that we are talking about this idea as we're in the month of flow. We're almost done with flow. We have like one more part week left. So we'll do this week. And I really want you to sink into this. I really challenge you, if you're willing, to sink into this week and watch what your vibration is like when you're with other people, when you're in other situations. What is happening for you? Check into that internal state of light and bliss. Like, how am I feeling right now? Am I having any sensations? Am I having any thoughts in my head about wanting to escape? Am I feeling sick? Am I feeling light? Am I feeling clear? Am I feeling connected? So there's also beautiful things. They're not all hard things. We're growing the awareness of how to be in vibration and read it first, and then we have to figure out what we want to do in it. So now how do I move through and manage when it's not for me? And that was what today was really about. What do I do when this flow is disrupted and something in a vibration is not for me? You have all of these choices: mantra, community, nature, boundaries, energy work and healing, bathing, showering in light, and meditation. There's so many others, but having that plan of what you're going to do for yourself when you're faced with stuff that's yucky, when that ectoplasm of energy is coming from someone else or a situation or a story, the news, when it's falling on us, we get to choose how we want to navigate that. It is not for you. And if it does not feel good, it is not for you. Okay? That's how we know. And so I want you to be watching for that. So this week it's practicing, like, oh, if I'm in vibration that doesn't align for me, can I come back to center? Can I realign? Can I use any of these tools? And I realign, and then I go back out, and then I'm going to bump into something else and I come back to center. Right now, oh, where's my innate beauty? Where's my innate love and light? Where's that deep, unabiding, connected, loving, peaceful place? There it is. There it is. And I bring that forward again, and I keep on trucking, or I use some boundaries, or I use these tools, and I use a combination of them. We want to keep figuring out how to flex and flow and transition and transform and shift, because we are not just stuck. One of the traps of our minds is that we are stuck. We are not stuck. We can shift and change. And so I just want to throw that out there. Hope that was beneficial for anyone. If you have questions, thoughts, comments, please feel free to share below anytime. Love that. If you have a question for me that's more private, feel free to direct message me. You can always do that as well. That's a great tool. If you don't feel quite ready to be vulnerable and put your stuff right out there, I understand that. And so I always offer that as well. But I just want to send you guys love and light this week, and encourage you to go out and try this vibratory experience. Just check out what it's like to be in charge of that piece of your life, that piece of your soul, and not just feel like you're a victim, like stuff is happening to you, but for you, like you're being given an opportunity to step into your greatness, to step into your own light and energy, your own vibration, and come back from that we can step in and then step out, and then step in and then step out. And like we can be doing this all the time, shifting. And really embracing when we're with people where we can feel really great. So community, right? We want a really solid community. That's a huge deal. So make sure you've got a really brilliant, loving community, because that is going to be a huge coping mechanism for sure. So, all right, my friends, this was all about flow, vibration in, vibration out. This is Jen with Laughing Lotus Wellness. I hope you guys have an awesome week, and I will plan on being back here next time. And if you ever have questions or thoughts, like I said, always, please feel free to share that. Feel free to tag a friend in the comments below. Like if there's something that you're like, hey, somebody could stand to hear this. This would totally resonate with so-and-so. Please feel free always to share. That's always something that I offer up, that I would be welcome. Like, hey, bring somebody in, let somebody know, listen to this conversation. And if you want to look for that meditation, that will be uploaded in a little bit. It always takes a few days for Insight Timer to catch up once I load that in there. It'll be loaded in the list of my meditations. Come follow me on Insight Timer as well, and take a listen to that meditation. It was banging, I'm telling you. I don't know. It was one of my very favorites ever, I think. So I was just like, the vibration of it was so awesome. And it's not like I'm, hey, I'm awesome. The meditation had the vibe I wanted. That gets me really excited. So when you can send that out into the world and have somebody receive it the right way, you're like, hey, winning. That was what happened today. So I absolutely love it. I really encourage you to go and seek that out if you're interested in doing the actual meditation that kind of goes with this conversation. That is how coaching and the work that I do really kind of blends, is that I'm doing something in meditation on a Monday morning in Insight Timer with my community there, and then I come in socials and I fill in the gaps and we talk about the actual skills and things like that here. I do a little bit of that there, but mostly really it's saved for social media so that you guys can then have all these layers of learning and tools that are kind of coming together. That's really the idea. That was the idea when I left my clinical practice, was to provide all of this wisdom, insight, and tools and lessons from my incredible teachers in my practice with all the healing modalities and things like that. So you guys are kind of getting all of the things together. That is exactly what I'm trying to do here. Last note before I sign off, I did forget to say this. I need to send out a newsletter to everybody. Just a really quick update on email. I am going to be teaching through Yoga Center Retreat. That is a new thing that just came to fruition. Well, it was kind of in the works for a while, but I didn't want to say it till it was like, okay, I'm on the schedule. So I'm going to be doing the 4 agreements. So sorry, Lauren, we ended up deciding to go with something really short and sweet to start the kind of cycle again. So I'm going to be doing 4 agreements, and that's going to be through Yoga Center Retreat. So you won't sign up with me. You will go on to Yoga Center Retreat and find my class in there. I believe it's called a workshop or a series. Forgive me, I'm not sure which it's called. There's a reference for one or the other. Go in and find that, and that's where you would sign up. It's going to be a small and intimate group. All of the things I'm going to be doing through them I have one more group that's going to be starting in the summer, and I'm super excited about it. It's a combination of coaching and meditation and things. And I'm like, oh, everyone sign up. Thanks, Lauren. Oh, I'm so excited. So I've got this Yoga Nidra. It's really fun. It's a book club. That's the Yoga Nidra class that's going to be coming up right away in April. And so we're going to read or listen. You can also do Audible if your jam is not reading books. It's not for everyone, and I know that. All of the books that I'll pick, I will try to find them that have Audibles associated with it, so that if somebody is not a fan of reading, they can listen on the go and just jot some notes if you want. We are going to be doing those, starting with this one, and then I've got another really good book in my brain that I want to do after that. So first is going to be the 4 agreements. It's short and sweet book, you guys. Your job is to make sure we're going to do 1 agreement per session. So what we'll do is we'll come into community, we'll do some breath work, we'll kind of, get centered, and then we're going to come in and we're going to talk about the book, the chapter that we read, and the agreement and what it means to us, our favorite quotes, our favorite, and then our challenges, the areas that kind of, you're like, ooh, what do I do about this? Like, we're going to sit in that together in community. And then we go in and do a Yoga Nidra practice, a really deep meditation that I guide you through that's all connected to that single lesson. And so the cool thing is, while you're not even really aware of it, I'm setting all of this good meditative therapeutic stuff inside your heart and soul, which is really amazing. So I'm shooting this beautiful energy inside your soul for your journey and for your growth. And you're going to take something really different away. When we're in that state, it's like super learning. So I want you to think about that. So I'm going to get in a super learning state. We're going to send these messages inwards to that bliss place. And you're going to walk away with this like really incredible energy around what you're learning and how you want to take that into your life. That's why we do it that way. So that's the Yoga Nidra Book Club. The other thing, we're working with the name. I don't have the name for you, but it's going to be a self-care style women's group. It's going to run 4 parts. It's a couple of hours at a crack. So is Yoga Nidra. Actually, I should say that. They're both 2 hours a piece. The one that's in the summer has a single one-off coaching piece associated with it, which is really cool. So every woman that's in there will get 1 hour of coaching time with me, separate from the group component we're doing. So super cool. So that one's like, woo, I've got all sorts of good stuff in the fire. So that is another one. And I will have a women's circle starting as well. So I'm going to do a virtual women's circle for people that are all over the globe. So if anybody wants to do a virtual women's circle, I will be releasing that as well. But that's all stuff I will get into my emails. If you don't get my emails yet, I would recommend going over to my website, laughinglotuswellness.com, and plug in for the subscribe there, so you can receive all the updates and things like that for events that are coming. So sorry to deluge you. I just did like the whole fire hose thing. But I forget. I'm like, there's so many things happening around me that I'm like, oh, that's right. Shoot, I forgot to say this. So I wanted to let you all know that that's coming up, and that will be Yoga Nidras in the month of April. Starts in April after Easter, and that runs 4 weeks back to back. And then the other course I'm going to be doing, and I'll probably do another Nidra in there too, but to start, that's April. That's the first thing that's going. And the second thing that's going to be going is that group in June. That's in person. It's in person, it's intimate, it's a very small group, and it will have a component of coaching associated with it. So that's June in person, which is like totally crazy to actually be teaching a class in person. I'm super excited actually. So I can't wait. So that's going to be in person. Yoga Nidras online, accessible to everyone. And then I'm going to start a women's circle that's actually global. So you can come in and do that with me as well. We're going to do that once a month. And so lots of things are starting to gel. It will be coming up online and available. I will send out an email to explain everything a little bit more deeply to everybody if people have questions. But I wanted to keep remembering to roll it out there because I forget. So anyway, all right, you guys, that was really long. I'm so sorry. Have a wonderful week. I'm so excited to spend time with you guys and love sharing space with you in this month of flow. It has been so fun. Actually, this month, this content was like lit me on fire. And it's been so neat to watch people also have it resonate with them. Like so many people that were like, this is exactly what I'm working on, or this is exactly what I needed to hear. That always feels really good to me. Like, oh, good. This was what somebody needed to have happen or hear. That's so beautiful. That's the whole idea of being here. And so anyway, I hope that you've had some sense of that in the month of March as well. That sense of needing to kind of be mindful about your flow, your energy, and your ability to be within that kind of a vibe for yourself as you navigate life. So, all right, guys, blessings, love, and light to you. Now I'm actually signing off. We will see you next time. I'll be around. And again, as always, reach out with any questions, comments, or anything that you want to share with me. I always love that. So anyway, love to all. We will see you guys next time.